Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. We'll surely appreciate it here on 100 Yards of Football. Special thanks to my guy, who's the best in the business doing this on the social media level, my man, Mr. Jeremiah Long. Thank you. If you like the video, one more time, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. Our video today is our NFL draft pick of the past in this moment. And this gentleman is Ricky Bell, running back out of the University of Southern California. You think about Ricky Bell and you think about his untimely death, which happened in November 28th, 1984 from a muscle disease that affected his heart. But you think about this gentleman as being one of the best football players that came into the National Football League, played at a high level at one of the most high-level institutions at the time in the 70s, the University of Southern California. See, I was a big-time USC fan growing up when I was in middle school in the mid-70s, and even in my later high school years, and then when I went on to the University of Arkansas. I loved the University of USC football program. And one thing I love about the Trojans is that, I'm going to keep it honest, they always had that African-American at the running back position. Back in the day in the 60s, Mike Garrett. Then after Mike Garrett, they had Anthony Davis. Then Clarence Davis. Then, of course, O.J. Simpson in 1967. Student body right, student body left. And I think about that position and all the great football players that played the position at USC, and then Marcus Allen came and won the Heisman Trophy along with Reggie Bush. But a lot of people get lost in the shuffle and they don't give Ricky Bell his flowers. Ricky Bell was the most physical tailback that played at USC. There's no question about it. He came there as a linebacker and John McKay decided to move him to running back. He had an outstanding college career, consensus All-American in 1975, 1976. But my first knowledge really of Ricky Bell, I know he was running the football for USC, but it was in the 1975 Liberty Bowl. December the 22nd, 1975. The Liberty Bowl is played in my hometown in Memphis, Tennessee. And during that time, it's a big-time event because it kicks off the college football bowl season. And on that night, I saw Ricky Bell take a 76-yard screen pass to the house against a Texas A&M team that had some pretty good football players in Bubba Bean, Pat Thomas, and the great Lester Hayes. And I said, you know what? This gentleman going to be in a long line of all the great tailbacks that's coming out of USC. Then in 1977, the NFL draft was the year that everybody was saying Tony Dorsett was the best running back in the draft. Where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had the first overall selection. They was coached by John McKay, who had left USC at the time. And he took Ricky Bell number 1 overall. It was very controversial, but I'm going to tell you what Ricky Bell did. He took that team in 2 years to the playoffs and to the NFC Championship game. He took the Buccaneers from a 5-11 in 1978 to 10-6. That season, he gave 1,263 yards, 7 touchdowns on 283 carries. He averaged almost 5 yards a carry. And Tampa Bay was the pinnacle of the NFL at that time, and they played in the NFC Championship game. And that was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that had the great Doug Williams at quarterback, and they had Leroy Selmon that led the defense. In the first playoff game, that was Ricky Bell's moment. His best moment in his whole entire NFL career, that game against the Philadelphia Eagles, first round of playoffs, 38 carries, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns against a fierce, physical Philadelphia Eagles defense that had Claude Humphrey, John Bunting, Herm Edwards, and Randy Logan. That was his moment. And when you think about Ricky Bell, the next week against the Los Angeles Rams, he had 59 yards on 20 carries. But think about that game. Doug Williams got hurt in that football game. And that changed the whole complex of that game, because if Doug Williams doesn't get hurt, Tampa Bay doesn't lose to Los Angeles 9-0. And Tampa Bay would have been going back to the Rose Bowl and playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let's talk about Ricky Bell's skill set as a running back. Not only at USC, But his time in the National Football League with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he was physical, A+. He ran the football like a blacksmith, A+. He played tailback like a linebacker, A+. He was the most punishing physical running back at that time, A+. His character as a football player and leadership, A+. His run instincts, A+. Inside runner, A+. Balance, A+. Power, A+. And rods after contact, A+. There's a lot of great football players and great human beings that we lose in our lifetime. Ricky Bell, as I mentioned opening this video, died at 29 years old on November 28, 1984. I promise you, if he would have been stayed healthy, he would have been a Hall of Fame football player. And then maybe after his career, he could have really went into the music business, because a lot of people don't know this. His oldest brother was Archie Bell, the lead singer of the Dales. He was a very talented guy. And you know what? There's a saying here, 100 yards of football, that you are kind of determine what other people say about your character. Marlon Jackson, one of his best friends, who played offensive tackle at USC when Ricky Bell was running the football, said this about Ricky Bell. He was a human being with the biggest heart of any individual I met. John McKay, who recruited him at USC and then took him, as I said, in the 1977 draft as the first overall pick, said this: Ricky Bell is the finest football player ever been around. And John McKay has been around a lot of great football players, man. Richard Wood, Willie Brown, Mike Garrett, Can You Feel Me, Lynn Swann, Pat Hayton, J.K. McKay's own son, Charles True Young. What John McKay said, Ricky Bell was the finest football player ever been around. And it was a pleasure to coach him at a high level. Ricky Bell was thought of as so much at a high level, they made a movie about him. And the actor Mario Van Peebles said this: learning about Ricky Bell, not only as a football player, as a human being, I see why everybody was crazy about him. I see why he went #1 overall in 1977 NFL draft, and Tony Dorsett went #2. I see why Doug Williams said he was an outstanding teammate. I see why Leroy Salmon loved him. Man, to the USC football nation, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football nation, please, if you watch this video, give your flowers to Ricky Bell. He died too soon. To the people of Troy, God bless. To the people of Los Angeles from his hometown, Fremont High School, God bless. And to the organization of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, God bless. Thank you today for watching 100 Yards Football. Special thanks to my producer again, Mr. Jeremiah Long, for making it happen. I've been your host, Vincent Turner. Y'all be blessed and have a happy, happy new year.